Namanda Vats Namanda Vats Namanda Vats Namanda Vats Namanda Vats Namanda 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 Vats. It's mine. Okay. It just follows this? Yeah. Okay. Usually don't give me one. Huh? Usually don't give me one. Because you have it down. Good morning, everyone. A little change in the program. We're improv. You know, that's always fun, right? So welcome to today's service. If you could place your hands together in Gasho while I get behind the organ, and we will have opening meditation followed by Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. So good morning. My name is not Sachi Yonokita like in the program. Unfortunately, she became ill, so she was not able to join us today. So you're stuck with me. My name is Darlene. And so we thank you for joining us for Hanamatsuri. We're honored to have Reverend Dr. Takashi Miyagi. He is not only the resident minister of the Southern Alameda Buddhist Church, but he is also the Dean of Students for the Institute of Buddhist Studies. A very busy man. So welcome, Reverend Dr. Miyagi. Today's service is a celebration of Prince Siddhartha Gautama's birth, who would later become the enlightened Buddha. We will continue with today's service with a chanting of Kanbutsuge by Reverend Shibata. This is the Gatha on bathing the Buddha's image. This will be followed by aspiration or dedication of today's service. So now we have a different gatha that we're singing only once a year. So please sing loudly today. This is a beautiful gatha composed by Linda Castro, who is the wife, or she passed away, but the wife of Reverend Don Castro, who used to serve in Seattle, among many other places. So please rise if comfortable for the singing of the gatha, A Flower Grows, which will be led by our choir. There they come. And you could find this in the Gatha book. Please use the Gatha book, which is the one with the spiral bound, on pages 24 and 25. This will be followed by the recitation of the three treasures, which can also be found in the program or page 2 of the service book.
Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony and a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandauts, namandauts, namandauts.
That was some nice singing. Now let's see how you do it chanting. So please join in the chanting of the Jusege, which starts on page 95 of the service book.
小学顔無良子不意大接種不採ショッピング政府上昇が市場仏道名所長寺本空教未所門政府上昇学利欲人少年上映修本業しぐむ浄土一生天にし地力現代公不償無才道少女三苦名交際集約難開示営言名詞根門閉塞小悪道巣脱前宗門高僧上満足異様道寺本日月主十期天候普賢一種解放像公正功徳音上大集中説法ししく供養一切仏具足習徳本金質上満徳意三害用両仏無下地通達未不詳感覚営力投資最小損志願や国家大聖の感動国書天人当知妙見ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブ願にしく徳平等正妻道本も大心 Vatsinamanda, 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 Vatsinamanda. Namanda.
We will now have offering of tea by the following representatives. For the Dharma School students, Evelyn Diaz. For Dharma School teachers, Mike Shibata. For Sangha Club, Derek Yu. For the Young Buddhist Association, Andrew Kawaguchi. For the Young Adult Buddhist Association, Dr. Linda Kawaguchi. For the Adult Buddhist Association, Dolores Matsumura. For Tomono Kai, Motoe Takahashi. For Stockton Bukyo Taiko, Chris Kubo. For the Stockton Buddhist Women's Association, Kimi Ishihara. For Cortez Hoakai Dan Kubo. And for the Buddhist Church of Stockton, Debbie Nakade. Thank you, everyone. And this Hanamido looks exceptionally beautiful today and is very fragrant. So when you come up, you'll notice that as well. So now we have a treat today for our Dharma School message. Reverend Shibata will now introduce Reverend Dr. Takashi Miyaji.
Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see all of you for this very special occasion, especially as we welcome Reverend Dr. Takashi Miyaji. And with many of our guest speakers, I'm very fortunate to be able to say that they're not only my colleagues, but my friend. And I'm so pleased that Reverend Miyaji can take time out of his very busy schedule to be with us today. As it was mentioned that he's serving as the Dean of the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California, and he was appointed in August 2024, and he's also serving as the minister of the Southern Alameda County Buddhist Church, and he was assigned there August 1st, 2020. And this temple, as we call it, SACBC, we use a lot of acronyms in the BCA, the Buddhist Churches of America, but SACBC is located in Union City, so it's a little bit of a drive. And unfortunately, his wife Kaori and son Keisai couldn't join us today, but we're thinking of them. So Sensei, he graduated from the University of California at Berkeley with a bachelor's degree in philosophy and Japanese language and literature. The Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California with a master's in Buddhist studies. And I think Sensei went before I did, and then I moved into the IBS dorm after him. And then also he attended Yukoku University in Kyoto, Japan, and he received a master's degree in Shin Buddhist studies and completed his doctoral coursework at Yukoku as well. So a few things that he didn't include in his bio. Sensei knows how to DJ. Too bad he couldn't bring his turntables and have some entertainment during our luncheon. But I heard that, was it at SACBC? Were you DJing at the bazaar? Okay, so he did DJ at their bazaar. So if you go to their bazaar, maybe he'll wiki at their bazaar. But they also have a cat named Maui. So we have a fellow cat person here in the temple, so I'm happy about that. But again, we're so fortunate to be able to hear Sensei's deep appreciation and understanding of the Buddha Dharma, especially for the children, and then following for the adult message. So Sensei, without further ado, yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Just need a couple minutes here. Oh my gosh. Go. Okay. Let's see. 1 second here. Okay, please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me, and I'd like to say thank you to the Stockton Buddhist Temple for your invitation, and to Candice Sensei, thank you very much, personal friend, and it's wonderful to be here, very honored to be here for the Hanamatsuri service. By the way, I'm sure every guest speaker says this when they come here, but this onaijin is magnificent. Holy cow, this is my first time here at this temple. But just looking at this, it feels like well, it feels like I'm at home, but but just the presence of all the adornments here is just really wonderful. You guys are really lucky to be at such a wonderful temple, and I'm really really happy to be here. Thank you very much. So today, what we're doing is observing Hanamatsuri service. Okay, Hanamatsuri service. This is the birth of the Buddha, Prince Siddhartha, who later goes on to become the Buddha. But so we call the baby we call it the baby Buddha here. But Shakyamuni Buddha didn't start out as a Buddha. Okay, we say that now in hindsight as a sign of respect for Prince Siddhartha, but Shakyamuni Buddha was originally a prince, okay, a human being, okay, a human being, and so that's kind of an important point to kind of keep in mind. So, because sometimes people say, why is he the baby Buddha if he becomes Buddha later on in life? Gotcha, and so, but that's the explanation. That it's a sign of, it's an honorific that we give to the baby Buddha. Okay, so today I have I know I've been invited as the guest speaker, but I brought on another guest to help me kind of in today's Dharma message, and this one's for the children. Okay, so please don't. Well, anyway, let me just continue on with this talk. So I brought over a person from Bodhi Street, okay? Bodhi Street, not Sesame Street, Bodhi Street for the kids, okay? All right. Okay, I got to laugh. Okay, that's good. I feel a little bit better now. Okay, just ちょっと待ってね. I have to get ready here. Just a second here, okay? Hello, my name is Grover. Hello. Hi. Hi, Grover. How are you doing today? Let me take this off really quick, okay?
Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Grover from Bodhi Street. Not Sesame Street, Bodhi Street. Can you say Bodhi Street? Oh, very good, very good. Well, hello, everybody. It's a new audience, so I have to kind of break the ice, just so I can feel a little bit comfortable. So, I'm going to tell you a couple of jokes, okay? Knock, knock.
Who's there, Grover?
Let us. Let us in. It's cold outside.
That was pretty good, Grover. Do you have another joke?
Yes, okay. This one is better.
Okay, yeah, because we got to make it a good one, okay, so that people feel comfortable and that you know how to tell good jokes.
Okay, here we go. Do you guys know the movie Frozen? You guys all seen this? Frozen with the two ladies, one can do the snow and all that thing. Yeah, okay, well, why can you not give Elsa a balloon?
Why?
Because she will let it go, la 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 la.
Very good, Grover. That was good. We got a few laughs out of that one. That was good. Okay. Well, anyway, I see that you have some baseball things here. Are you learning baseball right now?
Yes, I just actually came from baseball practice. I saw this thing about the Otani. I'm a big fan of Otani. So, I wanted to learn baseball because of that. I got the blue color down, but I feel like I need to work on some of the moves.
Yeah, I think you need to. I mean, Otani's a really good player, so if you're going to be like him, I think you're going to need to practice a little bit more.
Oh, yes, very good. But I came back from baseball practice, so now that's over.
Oh, that's good. See, he's got a glove here, too.
Okay.
This is very heavy on the hand, so.
Okay, well, let me take this off now because I don't need it.
Whoa. Whoa. Grover, you just threw the stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm done with the stuff.
Yeah, but do you treat all your stuff like that?
Well, yeah, they're not things. They're not alive. They're just things. I purchased them, and so they're mine, right?
Yeah, but these things are they're precious items that we need to show kind of respect for, because they're nurturing us.
Nurturing us? Nurturing us? Duh! That is a joke if I heard one.
Well, yeah, it's true. There is this kind of scientific research done where there's a research in Japan, and what he did was he he had two sets of snowflakes. And on set A, what he would do is he would yell at the snowflakes, say bad things, and berate and get mad at the snowflakes. And then there was another set of snowflakes where he would say nice things and be gentle with it and always saying, complimenting those snowflakes.
Yeah, and then what happened?
Well, the first he was yelling at, they all turned out kind of deformed and like they didn't really, the shapes didn't come out to the size of a real snowflake. But then the other set came out pretty nice and perfectly and what we would imagine to be snowflakes. So it does matter kind of how we treat things around us.
Really? But that sounds kind of ludicrous.
Oh, yeah, I know. It sounds kind of ludicrous. But in Buddhism, we call that nurturing us.
Nurturing us.
Yeah, it's a very important thing. Like, not just people, but also things nurture us too as well. Like this baseball glove, right? And this baseball cap, it is nurturing us. It is teaching us about not only the sport of baseball, but it is teaching us about teamwork, right? It is teaching us about cooperation, perseverance, working hard, and these kinds of things, right? These things couldn't have been taught to us if we didn't have, inanimate things like a baseball glove or a baseball cap.
Oh, that is kind of interesting if you put it that way.
Yeah, I have a friend who knows the JET program. Anybody know the JET program? It's where you go to Japan and you teach English to, grade school kids over there. Well, anyway, Grover, she goes to, I have a friend who goes to Japan, and then one day she decides to go to the park and read a book, right? And so at this park, she sees a baseball team, kids about like maybe, I want to say 7 or 8 years old, and they're playing baseball and they're practicing, and after they're done practicing, guess what they did, Grover?
No, what did they do?
Can any of you guys guess what they did? Yeah, sir, in the middle? No? Maybe in the front? Well, what they did was they cleaned up the baseball diamond. They raked the grounds. They picked up any trash. They cleaned up all their stuff to make it look as if no one was. And at the end of all of this, they lined up alongside the diamond. And what do? They bowed. They bowed towards the field. Isn't that amazing, Grover?
That is quite amazing.
Yeah, and actually, as a matter of fact, what I was told was that Shohei Ohtani, does not spit on the baseball field.
Wow, that is amazing. That is good respect.
Yep, that's respect, because it's showing us that things like the baseball diamond, all these equipment that we use are all things that are taking care of us, showing us about the art of not only baseball, but how to live life, how to treat other people.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so in that way, that we were being nurtured.
Wow, that is amazing. Normally I thought nurturing was something like, my mom nurtures me. She says to me, oh, Grover, you cute little bundle of joy. I love you. Something like that. But I kind of see that all things are nurturing me too.
Yeah, that's true. So we have to treat all things with respect, right? Because they are all teaching us about life. And so this is a very important Buddhist concept, the term bodhisattva. Do you know what the term bodhisattva is?
What is that? Is that like one of those new slang words?
No.
Is that like a topping on a pizza?
No.
Is that like a skibbity, those new words that all those young kids are saying?
Do you guys know the word skibbity? My son teaches me these new words. And so skibbity apparently is like a new slang word that all the kids are using. I have no idea what it means, but does anybody know what it means? I know you guys know, you're just not saying. Okay, well, that's okay. It's not a bad word. It's just one of those terms that people just throw out. Anyway, yes, okay, so bodhisattva means Buddha to be.
Buddha to be, is that right?
Yes, Buddha to be. That means that we should look at all people around us as our guides. Even our enemies become our guides to the Buddhahood, to learning about the truth of life.
Wow, that is very, very deep. Even people like on the news that I don't really like, with like orange skin color and these kinds of things, do these people too?
Yes, all people. I don't know who you're talking about, but yes, all people are our guides. They become our teachers, bodhisattvas, Buddha to be.
That is amazing.
Like the book, at the service, we do itadaku. There's a service book. So yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you. ありがとうございます. Thank you, thank you. Okay. And when we do the book, we put it to our heads, right? We go like this, right? Did everybody see that? You see Candace Sensei, she always does that. He puts it up. You know why? Do you know that? It's not to get the information to go in our head, okay? It's because when we touch it to our head, it's a sign of respect that these are the words of the Buddha, okay, that are teaching us about the Buddha Dharma, right? If we didn't have these words, we would not have this teaching, right? And so this comes from Indian culture.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, touching the head is a sign of respect in Indian culture, okay?
Wow, I feel like I learned so many things. Thank you today.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe we should keep it here, huh?
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll keep it here. We'll cap it off here.
I will end with one more joke.
Okay, let's go with this. What's the last joke, Grover? Tell me the last joke.
Okay, why was the math book so sad?
Why was the math book so sad?
Because it had so many problems.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Grover. That was wonderful. Have a good day. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, that's the end of the Dharma School. Thank you very much. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Okay, thank you very much. ありがとう。Thank you.
Okay, young students, those of you that watch Sesame Street will now think of it as Bodhi Street. And you're going to have to watch and see if Grover becomes a bodhisattva, right? Okay. And, Reverend Miyagi comes from a very talented family. Not only is he talented, obviously, DJing and puppeteering, but his dad does magic. And they're so fun. You have to watch the BCA 125th telethon and find his dad doing magic. It's very, very entertaining. They're great. And then his sister is extremely talented as well. She is a great cheerleader for the BCA. So thank you very much, Sensei, for your wonderful message. And I think even the adults were completely entertained by Grover. So at this time, we ask you to please stand if it's comfortable for the recitation of our pledge, followed by Nembutsu. This can be found in the back cover of our service book.
Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Okay, so now it's announcements. So Sangha Fellowship, I think we've been enjoying this. This is a great opportunity for friends and families to get together in the gym, have a little bit of social time, a little bit of exercise and fun. And the next one will be next Sunday, April 20th, after service until 2 p.m. Don't forget about the Spring Bento Box fundraiser. Your pickup date is this coming Saturday, the 19th. They only are producing 300 boxes. So if you have not ordered yet, please call the office tomorrow and reserve your bento. The Young Buddhist Association is asking your help in donations to raise money for the Koromo Fund. The Koromo Fund is a fund that the BCA uses to help the new Kaikyoshi ministers obtain their robes and necessary adornments for serving our sanghas. Reverend Candace's online book club will meet again on April 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Please let Reverend Candace know if you're interested in joining. Temple scholarship applications are now available to both high school and college students, so please make sure you apply. Dharma Friends Taiko session the next one is on May 4th at 11:30 a.m. At the same time, there will be also Sangha Fellowship Sunday, so everyone is invited to learn how to play taiko. And so in case, you beat on those drums so hard or work out in the gym, don't forget about Yaba's Da Vinci's Pasta fundraiser. I believe they are in the foyer selling tickets today. Price is $15 each. It includes pasta of your choice, green salad, and bread. The tickets may be redeemed at any Stockton, Linden, Lodi, or Valley Springs location of Da Vinci's. And the dates, you have choices, April 28th to May 4th. So you can always save it up and work out and then go buy your pasta and replenish. Let me see what else is next. Hatsumairi, our first Buddhist service, will be on May 18th. Please see the Karma for more information, and you can always contact the office or Reverend Candace. Don't forget, you can buy your gift cards through the temple. See the Karma for the order forms. They are also in the foyer. Cans and plastic bottles are now being collected by the YBA. Please leave your recyclables by the white containers underneath the carport. Are there any other announcements? Oh, yes. Who were they? Okay. By chance, do you have, could those that worked on this beautiful Hanamido stand up? I'm going to put you on the spot. If you help put the Hanamido together. Kimmy, Patty, don't be shy. They did a wonderful job, and they worked diligently to make it beautiful every year. So thank you very much.
Hi. Mimi, can you come up for a second, please? I have a really brief announcement. For those of you who are new to our temple, if you're a guest at our temple, if you don't mind, please sign the guest book that's outside in the foyer. So if you'd like us to contact you about events and other services, we would love to have your contact information. There's also a name tag for you if you'd like to fill out a tag, so we can call you by name. And when you come to the reception to the potluck this afternoon, or in a few minutes after Miyaji-sensei's service, we can visit with you and things like that. And members, I also have name tags available for you. So if you would like to have a name tag that you can fill out, and Mimi has a sample, okay? There's the string kind, there's also a clip kind, and you can decorate the way you want it, but please leave the name tag here so you can, so you don't take it home and forget it, when you come back to service. And that way we can, we'll have something to hold it up so you can pick up your name tag on the way into service when you come to service, okay? So there'll be name tag parts and markers and things like that. If you'd like to do that while you're eating or getting ready to eat today, then you're welcome to do that, and you can put it back in the box when you're finished putting it together, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. What a wonderful way to bring us all together so that we can remember names. And to this day, there's still some names I forget. I see the face and I go, I know them, but I can't remember your name. Any other announcements that we have? So don't forget, after our second service, there is a potluck. Beautiful tables are set up in the mini chapel. We do have at least one entertainment, which is done by the Dharma class. And how about kids from nursery through 8th grade? Can you raise your hands? If you are in nursery through 8th grade, nursery, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Oh, look at a whole body is being raised in the back. That's great. So, did you know you are going to practice Buddhism today, shortly? You're going to practice the 6 paramitas because you're going to need ksanti, or patience. You are also going to need the Eightfold Path because you're going to have right effort, right thought, right mindfulness, right view, because you're going to have to find the eggs, okay? So even the great Hanamatsuri egg hunt becomes a lesson in being a Buddhist, right? So patience, please. Your teachers will guide you through everything, and then please have fun and cooperate and enjoy the beautiful weather outside and finding eggs. This is the great Hanamatsuri egg hunt, which we haven't done in over a decade. So this is kind of fun. So we're kind of going back to it and everything. So the teachers have it all set up. Teacher Tiffany from the Dharma class will be in the Dharma classroom to get everything set up and give you instructions. And the teachers also have the instructions, so I think you will have a great time. But before you depart, Dharma school students are now asked to come up in an orderly fashion and offer Kambutsuke. So please come up and bathe the baby Buddha, or kind of sort of baby Buddha. Thank you.
you want to get set up, then I can, yeah. You might want to put the mic up just a little bit because it's probably at my height too, yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. So once again, we're so fortunate and honored to be able to hear Reverend Miyaji and his appreciation of the Dharma. So Sensei, he's just a wonderful speaker, and I've had an opportunity not only as a colleague to listen to Sensei, but just to be able to talk just casually about the Buddha Dharma too. So that's why I'm just so fortunate that he took time out of his very busy schedule to be with us and to have so many people come so that you could also hear the Buddha Dharma from his perspective and also feel his appreciation. So without further ado, thank you, Sensei.
Namandos, 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 namandos. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to continue on with the adult portion of today's service. So what we're doing is, again, celebrating the birth of baby Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, who lived approximately 2,500 years ago. So 500 years before the Common Era, right around that time, in what is present-day Nepal. But it's ancient. We call it ancient India at this time. And so the legend goes that his father, King Suddhodana, and Queen Maya are his parents, and they go to a wise person before Prince Siddhartha is born, and they ask this wise person, what's going to happen with our son who's now pregnant, with Queen Maya who's now pregnant, and then so the wise person says he's either going to become a great sage or he's going to be a great king, one or the other. And so King Suddhodana hears this, and of course wants his son to take after him, and so he decides to raise him to be this amazing next king, right? So when the baby, I don't know how much detail I should go into this. I see a clock there, so I can mark myself. Oh, really? Oh, okay, good thing. Okay, all right, I have a clock here on my laptop here. But anyway, Okay, so Queen Maya is on her way back to kind of her own residence where she kind of grows up. And so on the way back is this place called Lumbini Garden. And so it is there that it's said that she goes into labor. And according to legend, she kind of gives birth upright alongside a tree. And so the Buddha is born out of her right side, okay? And this is the legendary story, okay? So, and it's said that when the baby is born, he takes 8 steps in each direction, okay? And then says, of the heavens above and the earth below, I alone am the world honored one, is what he is said to have stated. And then that's the story that we get about Lumbini. And so it's said that every step that he's taken, that there's a lotus flower that blossoms up. And then there's the Dharma rain that shine, or kind of rain down. And so that's why we pour sweet tea over the baby Buddha. Okay, and so as time goes on, he grows up, and then he is, of course, his dad wants him to be the next king, so he receives this top-notch education, and education in the military and in literature and all of these different things. He becomes a very athletic person, very smart person, and he's also confined within the palace walls. And so he's not able to leave the palace walls because his dad didn't want him to see kind of the ills of society, right? The suffering that goes on outside of the palace walls. So even within the palace walls, there's only very healthy and beautiful women, strong men that are in the palace walls, the compound. Okay, and so. So Shakyamuni Buddha, as any adolescent, as he grows up, starts to become curious of what's outside of those palace walls, right? And starts to wonder, what should I would like to see what's out there and see the world beyond these palace walls. And so he kind of sneaks out one day. We all kind of know this story, right? That he goes out the 4 gates, okay? East, south, west. okay? And then so does anybody know what he sees out of these 4 gates? He takes his attendant with him, okay? And he sees out of the east gate, he sees, what does he see? Does anybody know? Sick person. Okay, yeah, he sees a sick person. Okay, so he sees this kind of person that's hunched over and walking, or I'm sorry, a sick person who's like coughing and these kinds of things. And so he is kind of shocked. You know, what is this? Why is this guy doing this on purpose? You know, why is he, going out of his way to act like he's kind of in pain? And so his attendant says to him, well, actually, he's not doing that on purpose. He's not doing that, just to get a kick out of it. He's sick. And he says, what is that? So this goes to show you that like he's kind of shocked by this phenomenon that is happening in life, right? And so his attendant tells him about a sick person, and then out of the next gate, the next day he goes and sees. Anybody know the next one? Old person, right? Old person. So he sees an elderly person who's like kind of walking with a cane and hunched over, and again he's shocked by this. Why does this happen to people? That's weird, right? And so like he's just kind of taken aback. And then the third gate, he sees a corpse, says a dead person, okay? And then he asks his attendant, why is this person sleeping? Right? And then the person says, oh, he's dead. He's dead. He's a dead person. And he says, does this happen to everybody? And he said, and then the attendant, of course, tells him, everybody will eventually see their own demise, right? And so this becomes a huge wake-up call for Siddhartha, who up until this point is kind of, only sees the kind of the happy things of life, the vivacity of life, right? And is never kind of exposed to any of these things and gets kind of this triple whammy of like how life really is, and then is kind of dumbfounded by all of this. And so out of the next day, he goes off the north gate, and then he sees a holy person, okay, and who is kind of practicing the way. And so he asks this attendant, what is this person doing? And then the attendant says, oh, he is trying to find the meaning of life through this holy path. And so Siddhartha kind of gets to start thinking, maybe this is something I would like to do for myself, because I do not understand why people have to go through this, and that and rich or poor alike, men or women alike, it does not matter. We will all have to go through this someday. And so he searches, then decides that he will leave this lavish lifestyle to go and live as a mendicant monk, which he does, okay? And so let me fast forward to this point where he then goes off, and he's living in the woods now, and he lives for 6 years and doing these very rigorous ascetic practices amongst his fellow kind of friends that he's found along the way who are trying to do the same thing. So they would do these crazy practices, like they would stand on one leg hours on end, right, meditating. Or he would eat 1 grain of rice a day, right, to subject his body to the extremities of suffering, to see if there is any kind of hope or light at the end of that practice. It is said that he could touch his kind of spine because he became so emaciated from lack of eating that he could touch his spine by pointing him through his belly, right? And so that's how skinny he became. But eventually, after some time, after 6 years, he realized he couldn't find the answer to his suffering, and then kind of gives up, okay? And then he goes to the local river, and he bathes in that river. And then when he comes out of that river, a woman kind of sees what's going on, so she kind of feels sorry for him. So she offers him a bowl of porridge milk, and then he kind of drinks it. And it is here that he realizes, oh, this life of lavishness that I've been living at the early part of my life, and this other side of the spectrum, or this life of ascetic extremism, neither of these is conducive to finding the meaning of life. I have to live this middle life where it's balanced between these two extremities. And so then he kind of comes to the middle way, okay? And does anybody know by any chance the name of this woman attendant who gave him this bowl? There's a lot of Indian restaurants named after this person. Sujata, okay, Sujata. So she's a very important figure in Buddhism, okay? So women have a very important role to play in Buddhism, not only in Buddhism in general, but also in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, right? We have the Eshini Kakshini Memorial Service. We have the Lady Yoshiko and Takeko Kujo Memorial Service, right? So these are figures, if it weren't for them, we would not kind of be where we are today in terms of our organization. And so that's a very important point, okay? And there's another kind of one other important point that I want to talk about, which is that Siddhartha loses his mother at a very early, at birth. He loses Queen Maya, right? She dies through kind of complications through giving birth and passes away. And so it's her sister, her little sister Mahaprajapati, who actually takes over as the kind of caretaker, as kind of the stepmom. But suffice it to say that his kind of biological mother is gone, right? And so there is this hole in his heart, I think, that he tries to seek to kind of fill that void, right? To find the answer, I think is definitely one of the factors that has led him to lead a spiritual path, okay? Similarly, Shinran Shonin, okay, the founder of our school of Buddhism, loses both his parents at an early age, right? So you can see the impact of this, of losing one's parents, i.e. losing one's mother, right? A person that you would think that you can rely on and kind of confide in, right? To be able to be your support system is gone, right? And I think that this void is what prompts both of these individuals to seek a path of a spiritual awakening, or fulfillment, I should say. And so that was very important for these two individuals, and a kind of common trait of both of these individuals. So, so the Buddha then goes to meditate under the Bodhi tree, and then after some time on December 8th, he doesn't rise from this from 1 week. He meditates and then figures out the meaning of life, and he comes to the Four Noble Truths. Okay, and then and then when he reaches enlightenment, then goes on to teach this teaching for the next 35 years until his passing at the age of 80. Okay, and then what's also interesting is that his first disciples are the same ones who he was practicing with, doing the extreme practices. And they were the individuals that actually kicked him out of their group when he received that bowl of porridge milk, right? And they said that your way of doing things is too lax. And so they gave him the boot, and they kicked him out of their group, and then he comes back to them, and then and shows them the way, and teaches them about the Four Noble Truths, and then turns the Dharma wheel. And this is called shoten poring, turning the Dharma wheel. Okay, and so that's the story of Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay, and then the 4 points of the Four Noble Truths is: life is suffering, suffering is caused by our attachments. The way to rid the suffering is to come to terms with or rid the attachments. And then the last one is through the Eightfold Path: right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right endeavor, right mindfulness, and right meditation. Okay? So these are things that we try to, as Buddhists, follow, but it becomes very hard to, as you will see. I mean, we go out and live our lives. It's very hard to follow these points: right view, right thought, right speech. We're not exactly thinking consciously to follow these things every day. And on top of that, there is no rule book in terms of what Jodo Shinshu Buddhists or Buddhists are supposed to do. Like, there's no list of do's and don'ts in our tradition, right? It's not as mapped out as clearly as maybe some of these other religious traditions. And that serves both as a good thing for us because it gives us the freedom to decide what is a Buddhist and how do I live a life as a Buddhist. But it's also hard in the sense that, it is incumbent on us to find what is an appropriate way to live as a Buddhist. But we should try, right? And this is one of the things that we should think of. And I like to also give you an example of why this might be kind of hard. The other day, my niece, she's going into college, And she gives me a call. She says, Uncle Taka. So I go by Uncle Taka. So she says, Uncle Taka, guess what? I got into so-and-so college, right? And I was like, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Congratulations, right? And then a couple of days later, she says, Uncle Taka, I got into the college that you went to, right? I went to Cal, and so she was like really happy about this. So I was like, yeah, oh, good, congratulations. I want you to go to Cal too. But she's probably not going to go there. But and then a couple days after that, she gets a call and says, Uncle Taka, I got into this Ivy League school, right? I'm really happy. And so we're very happy for her, my wife and I. And we're telling her, congratulations, Olivia, good job, right? No sooner than a few days after that, I have a dream, okay? And in this dream, I get told by one of my teachers that I got into a grads program at some prestigious university, okay? And so I wake up from this dream, and I'm wondering to myself, why did I have this dream, right? It could be, it's obviously because my told me she's gone to a good college, and, I'm happy for her. But I think deep down inside of me, there's somewhere inside of me that's a bit jealous. That's a bit like, I wish I could have gone to that school, or that I didn't amount to that. I didn't work hard enough, right, to that. And so I compare myself. And then immediately after that, I become shameful of myself because I'm thinking, this is my niece. Why am I comparing myself to my niece, I should be happy for her, right? And so I might be overthinking this issue, right? But I think there is some truth to that. And then I was reading this this Jodo Shinshu minister who says that in the daytime it's very easy to make ourselves look good, right? We make it look like we're good model citizens, we're upstanding people, and that there's nothing that we're doing that's hazukashi, or hazukashi is like kind of embarrassing, or that nothing wrong, right? We're good people. But at night, when we go to bed, all of our desires start to come out. All of the truth that's happening in this heart starts to come out, right? And so he says, it is very easy to try to make it look like we're following the path of the Buddha, but indeed it's very difficult to follow it truthfully, right? And I think that that's where the profundity or the significance of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism comes out, because it tells us to be honest with ourselves. It tells us you don't have to constantly try to meet this bar, right? That you are accepted as you are. You are embraced as you are. You should try to be an upstanding citizen, or hardworking person, trustworthy person, where people rely on you in these kinds of things. You should try to be a nice person, to be compassionate towards others. But there are also times you're going to hit a limit, right? If I was a truly altruistic person, right, truly compassionate person, my bank account would be zero, right? But it's not, right? Because I have a limit in terms of like what I'm willing to give, which is very little, right? And so I have this limit in terms of what I'm able to do, right? And then Jodo Shinshu Buddhism is telling us to be realistic about that, and that you don't have to break yourself bend over backwards and kill yourself over trying to follow these rules to the T constantly, right? But we should try. We should try. Just as it mentioned in this, our pledge, right, that we just recited together, right? We should try, right, and try to follow what the Buddha does, but at the same time be realistic about our limitations, right? And that's kind of what I take away from the Buddha's teachings. That Shakyamuni Buddha was a human being, and that I should try to emulate his life and try to be a person who seeks the way and listens to wisdom and compassion, but also to be realistic with who I am and embrace my true self as it is as well. Okay, so I'll end with that talk there, but sometimes what I do is I kind of open up things to like questions to see if there's any questions that people might have about anything regarding maybe the Hanamido, maybe regarding the Onaijin, right? This beautiful Onaijin. I can't get over this Onaijin, how beautiful it is. Or perhaps about something that you read in Buddhism, or perhaps, my favorite cologne or something like that. No, I'm just kidding. Is there any thoughts? Anybody have any questions on Buddhism? Feel free to ask. I'll take maybe like 1 or 2 questions. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be. I can't guarantee that I'll give you a good answer, but I could try to entertain the notion. Yes. Oh yes. Eshinni Kakushi. Eshinni is the wife of Shinran Shonin. So Shinran Shonin is right here, the individual right here to the immediate right when we're looking at Amida Buddha, who is the founder of our school of Buddhism, who lived in 12th century Japan. His wife, Eshinni, was kind of a devout Jodo Shinshu Nembutsu follower, and was also a kind of student of Honen Shonin, who is Shinran's teacher. Okay, and so they marry and they have a number of children, and they have, and so she was kind of a big supporter of Shinran Shonin's propagational work. And her daughter, Kakushinni, is the youngest daughter who becomes when he passes away, she kind of cremates his remains and then builds a mausoleum, which becomes the precursor to the Honganji. And she becomes the first caretaker. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So those are those two. And then Lady Yoshiko Otani is the present head priest's grandmother, and she was instrumental in kind of expanding the BWA and kind of creating this sense of cooperation amongst all of the Buddhist temples overseas and also in Japan. So they have this kind of international BWA event still to this day, every 4 years. The next one is going to be Hawaii, right? Yeah, in Hawaii. 2026, yeah. So that was through Lady Yoshiko Otani. And then Takeko Kujo. Takeko-san is, okay, so she's part of the head priest's family, kind of extended family. No, she was the daughter of one of the head priests. And then she lived in the 1910s-ish, around that area. And she does a lot of kind of philanthropic work. She was a poet. She was a avid, Jodo Shinshu follower. She goes to Tokyo to try to kind of help the people there after the great earthquake that happens, and unfortunately contracts respiratory illness through kind of that work and dies at like 41 or 42. But she was very kind of instrumental in connecting Jodo Shinshu to like everyday people and everyday life. So she was considered a very important figure within the tradition as well. So those are those 4 individuals. And then, so they're kind of like the concrete kind of individuals that serve as role models. But, and I'm not just saying this, I really do mean this. The BWA at every temple is consistently the most kind of, basically the backbone of every temple, right? And so has always kind of made sure that the temple is taken care of. So we may not be able to name the exact precise names, right, and on a national level, but we all know who they are at our temples, at our respective temples, who are the leaders and who have the previous people who have, our previous generation who has gone before us, right, and has become living role models to each and every one of us of how to live as a Nembutsu follower. So those are important figures that we should look up to as well. So that's that. Yeah, thank you. Any other thoughts? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Prince Shotoku, who's here on the very right here, is who lived in, if I'm not mistaken, the 7th century of Japan. Don't quote me on that, but it's very early on in Japan's history, and is known as kind of the father of Buddhism in Japan. So when he was alive, Buddhism wasn't really a big, but it was starting to come in. Scriptures were starting to come in from China. Okay, and so it was still a very, however, only a select few of individuals were able to study Buddhism. People who were learned, right? They had to know Chinese and be able to do kanji and things, these kinds of things. So it was only the scholar monks who can do it. But he was the one who kind of expanded and said, Buddhism has something to offer for all of us. And so he starts building temples and stupas all throughout the country and becomes highly revered and respected. And it's the same way in our tradition that Shinran Shonin saw him as a person who helped to propagate the Buddha Dharma and implement that in his political policy, in his kind of public policy. So that's Shotoku Taishi, Prince Shotoku. If we go over to the left flank here, on the immediate left is Renyo Shonin. So at one point in Japan's history, the Jodo Shinshu tradition was on the verge of kind of collapsing. It was kind of, a lot of people were kind of steering away from the tradition and going to other things. And this is 15th century Japan, okay? And so Renyo Shonin comes along, and he's the 8th head priest of the Honganji, and kind of revives the Honganji through his kind of propagational work. He starts writing a lot of these letters and sending them out all throughout the far reaches of the country to be read. And the thing about Renyo Shonin was that he was an excellent marketing person. So he was consistent in his messaging. I mean, if you look at his letters, it is always the same message. Okay, it's just, you know, there are a few variations in a few words. But basically, he's always basically saying the same thing, harping on this idea of the Nembutsu teaching, the salvation or the spiritual liberation of all individuals, no matter what kind of class or your socioeconomic standing is, that we are all embraced by Amida Buddha's working. And so because of that, becomes the largest, Jodo Shinshu becomes the largest Buddhist organization throughout Japan, to the point where it has political power and political sway, and eventually it clashes with, what is it? Oda Nobunaga, the shogun Oda Nobunaga, in the Battle of Ishiyama Kassen. Okay, but that's a whole nother story. I'll talk about that later. Okay, and then so on the far left here is the seven individuals of who have kind of spread the Nembutsu teaching or passed it down through the generations from Shakyamuni throughout the Indian continent, throughout India, China, and then Japan. Okay, so the top two are Nagarjuna and Vasubandhu. The middle are three individuals known as Tanluan, Taocho, and Zendo, okay, Shandao. And then the bottom two are Genshin and Honen. Okay, so the running joke I always tell everybody is there's two things that make it throughout the Asian continent. The first is Buddhism, right? Every country has Buddhism. You know what the second point is? Curry. Okay. Every country in Asian continent, every Asian country has their own remix of what curry is and their own version of curry, which is totally true. And so those are the two things that make it all throughout the Asian continent. Okay, so those are the seven individuals. So it starts with Shakyamuni and passes down all throughout the generations. Okay, but maybe I said it starts with Shakyamuni, but it actually starts with Amida Buddha, right? Amida Buddha is the primordial truth of the wisdom and compassion that manifests in this world as Shakyamuni Buddha, and then passed on to the seven individuals, and then on to Shinran Shonin, okay? So that's Jodo Shinshu in a nutshell. If there's any other questions, please feel free to ask me. But again, I know today was kind of a history lesson and that kind of thing, but this teaching is a very profound teaching, and it teaches you to come as you are, right? That you don't have to kill yourself trying to be this very pious person, that you are accepted as you are in the face of the Buddha Dharma, right? And so that's, I think, the big takeaway that I hope we can all appreciate today. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. Be careful. Yeah. So thank you, Sensei, for your wonderful message and for that impromptu Q&A session. I appreciate it. And please, if you do have any questions that you would like to ask Sensei privately, please go ahead and do so. Your message actually sparked a memory for me too. I don't know what event it was, but I got inspired to maybe go for my doctorate. And do you remember me emailing you? Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks for remembering. So, we did. And so I was thinking, man, should I get my doctorate degree? Should I go forward with my education, even though I have 2 master's degrees and enough student loans to pay for the rest of my life? But I was thinking, maybe I should get my doctorate. But actually, after you had mentioned, well, there's, some responsibility that comes with that, and paper writing and presentations and things, I myself had to check my ego, because I think what I was looking for was that Dr. Candace Shibata. So I'm good. I'm good. I did not go for my doctorate, and I'm okay with that. I love where I'm at and very appreciative. But really, it's a nice way to kind of check our egos when we have these real life things that we're kind of contemplating, and the envy maybe, and that comes to mind. So yeah. So thank you for sharing too. And congratulations to Olivia. So, but thank you, everybody, for your kind attendance today. And please stay for the potluck luncheon. And we have some entertainment, which will be in the social hall, or excuse me, the mini chapel today. So please join us, and please take time to say hello to Sensei as well. So thank you, everybody, and have a great afternoon, and happy birthday to the Buddha. Okay, thank you. Namandas, namandas. So if you haven't already, please come forward to offer sweet tea as well. Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's the veterans one.
Yeah, this is supposed to be, even though I hate to say this is supposed to be Marine Corps. It would have been better if it was Air Force Blue.
I thought it was a bookstore, I think.
Yeah, but I think I've seen this, seen it somewhere else for sale. Yeah, but it's supposed to be like Marine Corps red, Navy blue. They don't like the Air Force or Marines, I guess. But that's the idea of the colors of it.
I saw it in an article. We saw it in an article in the Villa Dharma. They were talking about the veterans. And so I went to the store.
Yeah.
Bought it from the PC. But I don't think they have it.
I thought I saw it maybe, this Southern Cal store.
Oh, yeah.
They might
Did you
have.
want one? We're gonna go down Southern Cal. If I find
No,
one.
that's okay. I can only wear one at
I
a
know.
time.
That's okay, I have a whole collection.
Yeah, it depends on her,
Yeah, I don't want to
Depends on my mood.
her mood or what day, if it's a holiday and such, that, gets her
Yeah,
proper one, so,
I get carried away on
Oh, okay, that's good.
my thing is magnets and books.
I'll come back and get this, or should I get more? Yeah.
We'll see you over there.
okay, we'll be there. Gary.
Thank you, Mimi. Can we, we'll put all of the fruit and manju out for the, so why did you reception?
Because we didn't know that until after they got done.
Is that basket still in there? Because there's plate, they'll do that other